Welcome back to the program, Jordan Claire Robbins.
Thank you for having me. It's so fun to be back.
Well, thank you for joining us. I think I was just saying before the interview started that the last time we talked to you was in August of 2020, and it was about, I believe, a few days before you were set to come to Toronto to shoot a film, and that film was Escape the Field.
Yeah, exactly. I know. This is basically you're the timestamp for me shooting this. Maybe you're good luck. Maybe you brought it my way. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. It was totally Geek Hard. It was like she did that interview, and that's why the film's so great.
Well, I'm
That's
looking forward to getting a call about something exciting next week. So,
yeah, no, definitely.
Honestly, Jordan, this is what we do for everybody. This is our goal in life, is to make sure everybody's career gets, moved forward. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, totally.
So
We just got to work on doing it for ourselves sometime. That might.
I'll give that to you. That'll be my gift to you.
There we go. There we go. So Jordan, Escape the Field. It is like a horror, but it's also like an intense psychological thriller about the will to survive. It's gigantic cornfield. It's definitely got to be the biggest escape room I've ever seen. So what was it like filming the film? Like, what was it like with your fellow actors creating that kind of level of distrust? Was that something that was still there when the cameras were off?
Oh gosh, no, we were like joined at the hip, all of us. It was really a unique experience because of COVID and the fact that, quarantining was an aspect of timing. And I was coming from Canada, but, Theo and Shane were from the States, and Tahira was coming from the UK, and, Julian. So everyone was kind of coming in generally and having to quarantine. So we had time to rehearse, to have dinner together, to, get to know each other. And by the time we started shooting, we were just like peas in a pod. So that was fun. It was fun to, like, sometimes I was just, I felt like we got the giggles a lot because it was like, it just was so silly. Like, it was one of those moments we were like, is this really work? Like, we're all serious here. And then the second it breaks, we're like bursting out laughing. So that was a challenge. It was not like, cracking up and being unprofessional around such a great, funny group of people.
Yeah, I got to imagine how difficult that might be when you as you said, laughing so much, like in between takes. Obviously it's very serious, and there's a lot of harsh things that go on.
Yeah, very intense.
Yeah, to have that ability to laugh in between takes must have been a great relief because of the things that your characters go through throughout this entire film.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think, like, earlier on in my career, I sort of thought, like, okay, if I have emotional, and there's something to be said for if you have an emotional day, you kind of staying in that world where you don't have to go from here to here. But generally, it was one of those things where, like, the more playful and light and free you are, the better the performance is. And so we just kind of kept each other warmed up because we had so much fun on set together, and they were long days, and it was really grueling days, and you're very physical. You're literally in the corn. I'm being dragged through the mud, and we're picking corn stalks, and I cut my finger on the corn, and like, you're really like in the elements. But it kind of lended itself. Like, it felt like a bit of a gift because you just kind of lean into it. You give over to the corn and the experience.
Well, totally. Just being lost, getting one with the corn. Definitely.
Corn.
Yeah. So, of course, there's 6 different characters in this film, all with a very different, unique perspective. Tell us a bit about Sam and what she is to the group.
So Sam, I see sort of as the heart of the group. The movie begins with Sam. Obviously, we have no idea where she's come from, aside from noting that she's in Scrubs. So I was able to have really long conversations with Emerson, our director and writer. And he was so available and willing to have those conversations and figure out why Sam is the way that she is. And, she lost her mother at a young age, which is a trauma that would shape someone to sort of always know that bad things can happen. And then her father's recently died. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She's a bit of a workaholic, and being a trauma surgeon essentially means being ready for whatever comes through that door, thinking on your feet, telling everybody what you need them to do, and making like life-saving decisions. And so she's sort of primed for this type of experience with the fact, the hypervigilance, the calm under pressure, the quick decision making, the comfort taking control. And I think where the story sort of jumps off, she's pushing down those feelings to try to assess what the hell is going on, because it's a very, very, scary experience to wake up somewhere you didn't go to bed.
Yeah, no kidding. Because as the film opens, we open with Sam waking up in this field, and I gotta say, I would not handle it very well. I think I probably would have curled up in a ball and cried, but Sam
Yeah.
doesn't.
No, I probably would have done the same.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think a part of Sam's ability there, besides what, as you mentioned, like her backstory being, a tough individual, I think it also helps finding a gun right away. I think that would calm a
Yeah.
lot of people's nerves. I thought that was interesting how the story unwinds around, each of your characters having, not only a specific object that they find that has something to do with the story potentially, but it almost seemed like everybody had their own specific skill set that they could be used during the film. Was that something you guys explored, in between takes about like how that all comes together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're all connected by this shared experience, but we couldn't be more different. And the way that we handle the situation is going to inherently be different. And the way that we, trust or don't trust each other, and the us and them, and that whole dynamic. And the items were a really fascinating aspect of it, and seeing how the characters clash, and like, why was I given the gun? Sam doesn't know how to use a gun, but by the end, she's sort of found her strength. And so it's interesting seeing the character's journey, and the fact that they're so unfamiliar and uncomfortable with these items and just sort of unsure what to do with them. And then, as the story goes on, everyone sort of finds their strength and their will to survive, and the willingness to do whatever it takes to survive, and how to, we need to work together. And that's the really fascinating part about all of these items, is like, it's just like the humans. Like if Sam was there by herself, I don't think, she would have felt as strong and capable. And all of the items are linked. And so, without giving anything away, I think the message here is like, as uncomfortable as it is to work together, like that was what was needed. And they had to learn to sort of trust each other and take risks in doing that.
No, totally. Yeah, it's when I was talking to Theo about it, I said it was a very like claustrophobic type film. So when you were in it, when you guys were like in the middle of performance, middle of a take, was that feeling like the wall, even though it's out, like it's a big cornfield, did it feel like the walls were like closing in the entire time?
It's definitely very surreal. Like it was a very strange, I haven't spent any time in a cornfield before this. And, it was very strange and cool. And it's one of those things where you take a few steps that way, take a hard right, and like, you can't see another human being. It was a pretty small crew. And so that was really helpful for me to know that I could get time to myself if I needed to really reconnect to that fear, that claustrophobic feeling. And because it was such a small crew, like there were moments where we're acting and you can really like just lean into the corn. Like it didn't take much imagining. It wasn't like this green screen where you had to kind of like use your imagination. It was a gift in that sense.
Yeah, that's right. And I would imagine that being someone who feels much more relaxed and safer when they're near the water, to be in something that's just a big, massive land.
Yeah, it's strange. And it was really interesting. It really felt like the corn was a character. And I remember one Friday we went, we wrapped for the night and we went back to the hotel. We had our weekend. We came back on like the Monday and all the corn had died. Like it went from like green and healthy, basically, how the Canadian, the shifts of the season, when it gets cold, it's cold. And, we could see our breath and suddenly it's not summer anymore. And it was like creepy. It was really creepy, the coyotes and the crisp air, and you're just like, it really felt like being lost in a cornfield.
I don't, by the way you're describing there, Jordan, I don't think you were in a movie at that point. I think you might have actually moved right into the real cornfield.
Yeah, I don't know where I end and the corn begins is what I'm saying. I don't know. This is a reality show. I will never know.
My God. The way we're talking about the corn here, it's like, it makes it sound like the corn is the movie. It is, but it isn't all at the same time.
No, it's very important. Yeah.
No, it's a seventh character, Yeah. Really, like you have to, it's there everywhere you go. The corn is there.
Well, and that's a great point, Jordan, because I know from past experiences, not always good being in a cornfield. Sometimes
also not always sober.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Those are different stories, but what I'm saying, though, is that sometimes when you're in a cornfield, and as nice and pretty as they can look, they can sometimes fight back, because sometimes those leaves on them can be like razor sharp.
Oh,
Like,
oh yeah.
so like, how did you guys? Because there's a point in the film where you're not wearing, anything on your sleeves anymore, like no sleeves, your arms are bare. Did you get like, was that something you guys worried about, like the takes, or did you guys have it so that you had a path that you could easily walk through, to help with the performance, not to get injured?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. Like they did have paths for us, but a lot of the time, a lot of those shots, me running through the corn, like I'm really running through the corn, and it was raining. There were a couple of nights where it was like so rainy and it's muddy, and once we were doing the shot where they actually ended up cutting the scene. So we're setting up a camp, and I thought the camera was on me, and turned out it wasn't. And I was going for it, yanking this corn. And I like sliced my finger, and it was like bleeding. And I like, well, it's to get the shot. And then they're like, I look over and it's like pointed over there, and I'm not even on the edge of frame. And I was like, okay, well, that was wasted, violence towards myself. But yeah, I definitely like my nails. Like there's a scene where I'm kind of getting dragged without giving anything away. I think it's in the trailer anyway, but they were like, make sure you don't put your fingernails in the ground. And I'm like, me, I'm like an actor. No, I'm going to go for it. And my nails were like bleeding. I'm like, why did I do that? Like, you're really in the elements. Like you really can take it as far as you want to go.
Man. Yeah.
I got to imagine like that sometimes that happens when you're acting. Like you just, as you described, right? You just go like deep into it and forget what's going on, and then sometimes accidents happen.
Oh yeah, it really it's one of those things you don't necessarily realize, because you're making movies and it just feels really artistic, and but you're still very physically putting yourself through some stuff. Like things can happen, so you have to you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, no, taking care of yourself is very important. Again, it's always good to have a good self-care position, even when getting into the performance and whatnot. But I know that you, as a person, you're pretty good at the self-care. You seem to have a lot of good things going on in your life. You have your dog, Daisy. How's Daisy doing?
Daisy's good. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm seeing her. I'm heading back to Bermuda in a couple weeks. No, a week from Sunday. So I get to see her soon, and I'm very excited. It's I can't wait to have a dog, with me, but it's a long distance relationship for now. Love my dogs, love to meditate, spirituality. Like it just kind of grounds me. And a movie like this, especially, you just have to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Or you're gonna, it took me like a month to get out of the trauma of Sam. I was really moody for like a few weeks. I was like, oh, that's what's going on. I need to go to the spa for a day or something, because I'm really moody. I'm really heavy. I'm carrying all this trauma around. It's not even mine.
Yeah. Did you feel like you wanted to be around concrete and asphalt and steel? Like, just enough of this nature thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't lie. Like when we finished, I was like, I think I'm good to see no corn for a while. Like I could take a break, by next year Halloween. I was like excited there was a bit of corn. I was like, oh, corn, like an old friend, it's like we needed a bit of a break from each other. It was like all I was ate and breathed was corn for.
No, totally. Eat, breathe corn. Yeah. I just also want to mention right now that this interview is brought to you by the Corn Farmers of North America. So please support them whenever you can.
Yeah, this is actually just an expose on, corn. It's really an advertisement just for corn. Full purpose. Why we're here.
But no, there's also there's a puzzle. Like again, when I said about the psychological thrill element, there's puzzle elements to this story. You yourself, are you good at solving puzzles?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm definitely like a dog with a bone in my own life, like, which is very much how Sam is. So that was a pretty easy thing to connect with. I like escape rooms. Like I love, I don't know if you guys are doing Wordle, obsessed with Wordle. I hate not solving something. Like all those unsolved mystery shows will like haunt me for days. I'm like, but they need to solve it. Like I love to figure things out. So this really spoke to me. Like I'm very cerebral. I'm very much in my head and always figuring things out, and the psychology background. So this kind of thing was very up my alley.
See, that's a good idea for a show. Jordan Solves It, where you take old episodes of Unsolved Mysteries and the ones that still aren't solved.
No pressure.
And solve them.
This man's wife has been missing for 40 years. Good luck. Yeah. That'd be a really boring show. I probably would be like, well, I got another one. I'm sorry. I couldn't figure it out.
Honestly, I'm with you though, Jordan. When I watch shows like that, and I have in the past, or other true crime things where, maybe they didn't find the actual, perpetrator, and it just kind of ends, and they're like, well, it's been 15 years, and we don't know who did this yet. And I'm just like, it's like ending the movie at like the 3/4 mark. You just kind of like,
yes, no resolution. It makes me angry. I'm like, why did you make this? Why are you doing this to me? I feel very attacked.
Yeah, it'd be like in this movie when you guys get to the tree.
Yeah.
Right? Just stop there. That's it. We're good.
Yeah. Well, enjoy. Hope
Thankfully,
your brain. Yeah. Let your mind wander.
Yeah. No. Thankfully, you guys did not do that to us. There is more to the movie, and it continues on. So you guys. So bravo there. Well done, guys.
Good move finishing the movie.
Yeah, let Emerson know. Let Emerson know that you guys give me thumbs up for that choice.
Yeah. Geek Hard approved that the movie is completed. Totally.
Yeah. Complete movie has an ending. Yeah. Seal of approval.
Oh my gosh. But of course, the last 2 times we had you on, it was for your appearances on the Umbrella Academy. And, that show is a very big show and people love it. Have a lot of fans reached out to you about your performances on the show?
Yeah. It's always really sweet. It's nice because being a mom essentially on the show, it's always very like, hey mom, I love you, mom. Like it's all just kind of supportive. Like I don't have, most of my followers are like women, and it's just like a really positive, maybe that'll even out, but it just feels like all the fans of Umbrella Academy just seem like really kind human beings. Like I think we're really fortunate to have such an awesome fan base. It's been nothing but love, which is I think why social media should exist, is just love. Often it becomes not about that, but that's what I'm there for, is just to connect. And it's so cool that social media exists now. Like we can connect with fans of the show, and it's so important to me that the work resonates, and that's like the best part of it, really.
And you can have a bunch of children everywhere. Like that's
don't
even have to have kids. You got them all over the place.
Kids everywhere that are older than you. Who doesn't want it?
It's like good. I don't have to worry about the basics. You're good.
Yeah. You guys have got that figured out. You've got your kids of your own. You're good.
Yeah, but you're right though, Jordan. Like the fans of Umbrella Academy are, of course, are great, and it's quite wide. But of course, horror itself has its own steadfast group of fans, and are in my experience have always been very open and welcoming to new ideas. Where whereas like Escape the Field kind of delves into some interesting new things, but some things we may have seen before, but in different ways. And that was one of the things I really enjoyed about watching the film is seeing all you guys kind of live that experience. Have you, with any of the screenings that have started to happen, have you started to hear any of that feedback from the fans?
Well, no fans have seen it other than just the trailer, and everyone seems really excited about it. We've been like super pumped to talk about it from like the day we got on set, like in the corn. I remember this really lame photo of us all like on all the farm equipment, and like, so we're just excited to be able to talk about it. And the fans of, the poor fans have had to watch us just post about it for like a year and a half and not be able to watch it. So it'll be cool for everyone to get to like know what we've been talking about.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think what's really cool is that with a film like this, it's got a big feel to it, but at the same time has the intimate feel of a play. So that's
true. Yeah, very true. It's hard to do that. To do that well, have a contained story that doesn't feel too one-dimensional or visually not that exciting. Like this is, I really think they did the music and it's a beautiful film and just really cinematic. I think, that's what I know Emerson wanted from the beginning when I jumped onto the project. And I think he really achieved that very naturalistic performances and just like a really beautiful film.
So speaking of Emerson, did he allow for any kind of, play with the role, like beyond the script itself? Did you guys have some takes where you guys explored different ideas?
Yeah, he's so great. He's just down to play. He's in there with in the mud with us. Like he would do things like the first day of filming, which is the first scene of the movie, which is a fun way to start it. It's rare that it's like that, but because of the cornfield, we had the luxury of doing that. He would kind of come up to me and whisper and be like, "Hey, just really mess with Theo on the stake. Like, I want you to like scare the shit out of him." And I'd be like, "Okay." And then like I would, come at him, and he like fell down for that take. And then he'd go over to him and be like, "Make her really uncomfortable. Like, be like a total weirdo. Like, just really, and he's like kind of give us these directions that the other person didn't know. And it just like, that's what keeps it alive. Like it's, I don't think there's really a place for like acting where you've prepared your performance and then you show up and you perform it. It's meant to be this like instinctual kind of bouncing off each other. And yeah, he really allowed for that playing. He really allowed for us to like bring our own flavor to it and give feedback. And he's so great that way. You don't always get that, but he was very, very into us bringing our own touches to our character and the project.
That's cool. Sort of like a little devil on the shoulder saying, "Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that?" Encouraging you to get dirty in the corner.
Oh yeah, that's what we wanted. That's what actors. That's all we ever want, is just to get in there.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God. Well, Jordan, I just want to say I really enjoyed this film, and it's given me a newfound appreciation for corn. And I'm looking forward to people getting to check it out when it gets released on May 6th. And I think a lot of people are going to have a good time with this film, but at the same time, they'll also have the shit scared out of them. So that's a good mix.
That's good. It's a good combo. Yeah. Get your mind going, get your body afraid. You don't know what's happening. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think people are really going to enjoy it, and it's so different from anything I've seen. So I'm really excited about it.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. We hope you have a great day.
Thank you, guys. This was so fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks.
Thank you.